Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this month's KWCC. I am your host, Kaiju X. Today we are going to be... I don't know if this is going to come off as obvious within the video, but things are going to be going down a little differently today. Due to technical issues, I am not going to be able to be editing these videos. However, that role will be handed off to Greyshot 151 here, who is currently doing his recording on his side and going to be editing the video and all that. So,
Yep.
And I'm recording with a potato.
It sounds like you are. Sounds like you're speaking for one too.
Potato, anyway.
Potato, patata.
But no, yes, if you notice any differences in the technical side, that is because of me. But unlike most other things, there should be no other changes that you are able to discern other than GVJ will still sound off like an ass. So.
And you're welcome
Greyshot
for it.
Greyshot's gonna cut out all the parts where we have fun.
Like always.
No, I'm just gonna cut all the parts where you make fun of me. I'm just gonna replace it with Greyshot. Like when you say Greyshot is the worst, I'm just gonna cut in best. So.
Yeah, just splice in best anytime we say words.
Remember, guys, Greyshot will make a re-edit of this.
Greyshot's
best.
Make it as
but don't you guys know? Do you not know delay?
Oh God, no! No, we're not doing this.
Do you know the way, Greyshot?
Do you know the way, Greyshot?
I'm sorry,
Greyshot does not know the way. Spit on him.
I had to get that one out there.
You don't know the way, my
Spit
brother.
on Greyshot.
This is what happens when I record for you, Kaiju X. And now you make a do know the way memes. Why did I become the
God damn you,
KWC
you
controller?
goddamn knuckles.
I'm so boring, I hate memes.
Okay. Today, obviously, we have Greyshot here. We have Birdman here. We have Joe here. We have Alex here, the fan favorite, obviously. Others may or may not be joining. We will see how that plays out throughout these next 2 hours of wasted time. Anyway, in the meantime, I believe we actually have 2 matches to go over. Match
2 matches? Why not 3?
Because the KWC Awards are currently going on, and I'm taking a slight vacation, so I am not doing as much, so I can focus. Because for the last month, I've been doing year-end close to my job. Fun times abound, I assure you.
I would take your word for it.
Yes. Yeah, he's actually been pretty busy with our IRL stuff, so it's why when I send a message, it's like, hey, Greyshot, can we do this? Hey, Greyshot, can we do this? No, I'm technically exaggerating.
Hey, Greyshot, listen. Hey, Greyshot, listen.
Hey!
KWC.
First on the pecking order is
Or you could
match
be your
216,
typical
the
fan
last
on the YouTube comments going, can I make this match? Can I add this monster? Kaiju X, can I add this monster?
Oh gosh, yeah, the comments section. Ugh.
How about this match with too many damn monsters?
Why is it called everyone versus everyone when monsters are on teams? That clearly makes no sense.
Oh, I got an idea. How about a match where the kids fight each other in a huge city for no reason?
Can't we have Goku in the KWC?
How about Ashley in the KWC?
Well, you got into Knuckles. Oh, wait, no.
Hey, you got the Knuckles!
Yes.
Gamma versus Uganda Knuckles is sequel to Gamma versus Hedera.
Yeah, totally. Tackling social
wait.
issues.
Wait, Kaiju X, Greyshot, can we have this in the KWC?
What is this?
I don't even know what this is. Why is Peter Griffin the
No.
alcohol?
Yeah.
Ale?
No, we will not.
Enough shit.
Any case, let's get to that match, shall we? Which is number
Here's
216, Godzilla Hesse
the
versus
fight.
Rodan versus Mothra Hesse versus Grand King Ghidorah versus Mechagodzilla Showa.
Demi and
Here's
Deku
a funny
original
backstory
Heisai.
behind that Shin Peter. I was the mastermind behind it. I requested it. Or I mentioned it.
Okay, that explains why I'd never seen this before. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
And Joe, like a good friend, made it.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, let's see. What order do you want to go? Do you want to go like top to bottom, probably?
Sexy.
Wait, for discussing the match?
Yeah, I guess just go
In
down
terms
the
of
list.
position,
Yeah, by all means. So, Birdzone, what were your thoughts?
But apparently, you can't read matches very well. Because I wrong Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla. So you want
Okay.
to put that on, and then you long story short, for anyone who's listening, he really made the banner for this long before I edited it, and he put Heisei Mecha Godzilla on the match when it was actually showing the match. So if I hadn't seen it, he would have probably had Mecha Godzilla Heisei on the banner and would show it in the match.
No, okay, look, I got to the point where Grand King Ghidorah descends, which Mechagodzilla Showa is not in at that point. And the match read Mechagodzilla. So immediately I had the idea, I had this banner partially done, because it originally was for Orga versus Hedorah. That's how far back this banner was made. I was like, well, I can use some of the components. So I did some modifications, put Godzilla in there, threw Mechagodzilla in there, and I did about half the legwork. And then I was like, hey, Birdzone, can you mind taking the other half? I just get a message from Birdzone. Greyshot, do you know which Mechagodzilla this is? I'm like, isn't it Heisei? And he's just like, no, it's Showa.
Yeah, I think I remember you posting that message when that was discovered.
Then immediately
Yep.
like, oh shit. So did a quick change. So yeah, that's what happens. And yeah, I just never read to the part where Mechagodzilla entered the match. That's because he doesn't enter for a while, actually.
So the story is you're basically lazy.
I did half. I read the banner, and I was like, hey, Birdzone, am I doing, the other half? Thanks.
yes, Greyshot, but you're not telling us how you really feel. It's okay. Don't be brave. Tell us your real feelings.
Let the hate flow over you.
If you want to call Birdman an asshole, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He did good. He did a good job. This was an older match. This actually I received back when I first took over the KWC. Like, this was back in the original bunch that Titano gave me. So, and it's also
You mean dumped on you?
yeah, it stumped on me. When I
That
received
sounds
it,
very tasteful.
when I should also note, this honestly had a ton. Like, usually Christian Zatkov made this match, by the way. He usually is a fantastic writer, but this is an old match. This was like one of his first matches, and if you read the original edition, you could easily tell that there were
I could.
It was bad,
Uh,
but a lot of work. I could see the greatness beneath the rust, and damn did we polish this match.
Right.
I
And
thought it
think
was
also-
good because it had my 5 favorite monsters.
It has Toho's top 5 favorite monsters. Let's face it.
But those are also by typical comment.
True. But Grandpa Birdzone, anything else comments you have to note on the match itself?
I will say this: from Matty Peters' Toho's top 5, it didn't really seem like a good match. I mean, it kind of felt dull.
Wow.
Scathing review by Birdzone. 2 out of 5. Kinda dull.
Yeah.
It is going
1 out of
back and
5.
forth, back and forth, that kind of thing. There's like, I don't know, real action.
I think the other note is the consequence kind of feels a little not there. I mean, you get these
Yeah.
monsters fighting,
Yeah.
the build-up is great, but then there's no, like, and usually in my match, there's some kind of conflict that is going on. This is just all monsters just show up in battle. So, which definitely harkens back to the original KWC matches where it had that kind of setup.
Definitely, yeah, this match in particular definitely harkens back to the older, like, first 100, like the the style of like the first 150 matches where it's just like, monsters show up to beat the shit out of each other with no extra.
I want this monster to fight this monster with little to no story.
Pretty much.
But Kaiju X, your thoughts? Sorry, GVZ, your thoughts. You're next.
Wow, Greyshot hate everyone. No wonder why no one has any respect for you. You keep it small.
I thought this match was decent, but disappointing. It's mostly because of the tonal change in the last few paragraphs, where before spoilers, Mothra and Rodan teamed up, it felt more apocalyptic. It felt almost gritty. And then as soon as they team up, it has this lighthearted feel, and it felt like I was reading a completely different match. It was like in Justice League.
In Justice League?
Yeah, it was like Justice League, the new movie.
Oh!
He's talking about the Toho.
I was thinking the show. Sorry. That's how little impact that movie had. I think the show.
Yeah, totally. And I almost thought the TV show.
Remember, GBC, you're talking to Greyshot, who actually liked Justice League.
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was.
Oh, you traitor!
Yeah, I also thought it was okay.
Apparently, Greyshot thought it was funnier than Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but it is not funnier than Thor Ragnarok.
No. I said there was one joke in Justice League that had me laughing more than anything in Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok's still a way better movie.
Mm-hmm.
He actually thought Justice League was funny at one point.
Oh my god, the Flash sequence, man. The Flash sequence. That was so good. Just Superman, just tracing back over to him in his face, turning from "I got this" to "Oh no!"
Yeah, that sounds like a great reaction.
That gave me cancer all over my body.
Okay.
Well, see, Deadpool now.
Okay.
They create equally better character than Superman.
Anyway.
Well, here, Kaiju X, what are your thoughts?
Wait, Greyshot.
Not fucking done, Greyshot.
Oh.
I still have thoughts.
Joe's not done yet. Let him continue.
Man, what an asshole.
Something else I didn't like was that Grand King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla, they had backstories, but Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra don't. They just kind of show up for no reason.
Well, yeah, what do you think? Because it was mutated by a nuclear bomb, dumbass. You just need a backstory.
Well, I mean, I will make note that Mechagodzilla does have a point because he's connected to the mothership, and Rodan is there because of Godzilla. Rodan is there because it's like last bastion of humanity apparently, and they're doing experiments on him. And Godzilla's there because apparently he made his home in the Michigan. So those three make sense, I will say. Mothra and Grand King Ghidorah are more kind of like, what?
Yeah, but why did he make his new home in the lake when he has the all to himself?
Because that prime real estate.
Yeah, guys.
That's a plot.
It's a timeshare. He's, the normal monster that lives there, he's going to Japan, and Godzilla moves in for like a week, wrecks the place, then leaves and says, "Yeah, it was like this when I showed up."
Okay, that's pretty good.
But Mothra she's given no backstory, and it's only said that she's there to protect the citizens, to protect the remaining humans.
Did you say Cubans?
Yes.
Michigan,
Okay, so I
home
guess
of the Cubans.
So Cubans are the only humans that survived.
The only humans.
But something I did like was how it felt like all the fights felt like they were taken from the games. I thought that was cool. And the fights themselves are fun. And I enjoyed reading them. And the story before the last few paragraphs was good. Aside from Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla having no backstory. And Mechagodzilla being sentient was kind of dumb. I wasn't a fan of that. But I did like Grand King Ghidorah questioning where he came from. It's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay. So
Oh.
GVZ 2 out of 5, mixed bag.
It's
Overall,
looking great so far.
It's looking great.
Or is GBZ half in the bag on it?
Yes.
Like, there are strong points here, but I don't feel like there are no. It does have a lot of the same problems that you see with a lot of the earlier ones, and I do kind of agree with Joe. I would have preferred it if it was just a straight up kind of gritty all out between all 5 of them, as opposed to, oh hey, Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra need to team up to stop Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like, I do feel like it could have benefited from, because it's like Godzilla and Rodan are more than capable of acting independent and not necessarily be Earth Guardian. So you can easily write them like, they're all just fighting each other. And the only one the only one who would be trying to serve justice would be Mothra. But I think it could have benefited just from having it be a true Godzilla versus Rodan versus Mothra versus Ghidorah versus Mechagodzilla.
But Kaiju,
Those
how do you
two.
truly serve justice if you die constantly?
Anyway, but I think there are good points. Once again, just a couple of good points overall, and I think there are some nice, interesting ideas. I do agree. The whole Ghidorah questioning himself was kind of neat. The ending of it just felt a little predictable, but given the nature of when this match was written, don't get me wrong, it makes sense given the time period this was written in, but still, I just do feel like, I think it just kind of goes to show how far we've come in terms of KWC, and I'm not trying to say that having matches like these are a bad thing per se. I think it is nice to go back to once in a while and say, oh yeah, sometimes you do just need the predictable winners, but I do have like the KWC has come a lot further than that. Like, things have gotten a lot more bold with our approach and what direction we've been taking it. So it's just simply an example of how the KWC has evolved over time. So,
and here to translate that for you, what Kaiju X is really saying is, don't you ever fucking try that shit again. I will come to your house if you send me a match like that, and I will shoot you in the goddamn face. We're doing it. We're doing things the cool way now. I don't want to see this standard shit anymore.
jokes on you, Alex. I never got this one.
Well, I think somewhere somehow you did, but you repressed it.
I will make note that these types of matches are perfectly fine. These types of matches, I will also say, are pretty good. Like, just having a pure fight without the story, just having monsters show up randomly isn't the worst. Like, KWC, that's still a part of it, and that's still, story is great, but sometimes having, I will say I'm taking a bit of your thunder, but I will say the detail in this match is excellent. I will say probably the beginning part is the strongest, especially Godzilla versus Rodan. Like, that part is just absolutely brutal, and the detail is great.
Yep.
What Greyshot is really saying is, don't you ever send me these types of matches again, you stupid guy. You do it again, I'll come to your house and bore you to death with a history lesson.
What was that? Kaiju X's answer?
Kaiju X's answer, 0 out of 5, don't give me this match or else I will find you.
That's too harsh. 1 out of 5.
Okay.
No, that's too generous. 0.1.
Too far
Five.
too lenient. 0.99 out of 5.
That works.
Okay, but GVJ, any final notes on the match?
Okay, what do I have to say? I didn't care for it. Like Greyshot said, I think the beginning was the strongest portion, or the best of the worst. Yeah, like, why is Mechagodzilla sentient all of a sudden? Did the Vortex or whoever the aliens were did that to him? Why are some of these kaiju even here? Why are they all fighting?
Yeah.
Why are the aliens even bothering to destroy Detroit? It's already been destroyed.
Alright.
And as cool as amazing
I just like
as
the idea that the world is so bad that everyone's like, Detroit, the metropolis, the last bastion, and everyone just shows up like, oh, this is how far we've fallen.
Yeah.
And as amazing as the banner is, believe me, it's really good. It doesn't fit with the match. It's kind of misleading because with the banner, you get some sort of news story, like a reporter and a camera crew following the monsters around. But no, it's an apocalypse story, so the banner's really misleading, as cool as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, don't worry, we'll get to misleading banners very shortly. But,
And hold on, I'm not done yet, Greyshot. The tone isn't that consistent. Like GVC said, it kind of switches. Also, it seems like Rodan and Mothra team up when Mechagodzilla interrupts their fights. I guess that's what it takes for them to be friends or something.
Yep.
All in all, it wasn't a one to give 2017 a bang.
Mm-hmm.
So, a 0.000000000000009 out of 5.
0 out of 5. Didn't like it.
well, in that case then, I guess I'll give my overall thoughts.
And I can hear Living Corpse writing his hateful emails towards us already.
Actually,
I don't
No,
think he doesn't give a shit about the KWC.
Oh no, yeah, he doesn't care anymore. After MM's little spilt over 160, he was done. He was done.
Yeah.
Don't you mean temper tantrum? Like a 3-year-old?
Too much, yeah, temper tantrum.
How could Godzilla do it? He hadn't done this before.
How can you toss a
Godzilla
building
can't-
into a monster's eye?
Godzilla can't move his tail slightly towards the left. He has to do it slightly towards the right. Just
And how
darn it.
dare you describe, an action a monster makes as a fighting move to give people a representation of what the hell the monster's doing?
What does that mean? I mean, what is that? And how dare you have a nice little bit with the giant condor at the end or something? I can't remember. It's been a while.
or the fact, actually, it's comically enough, 160 is what gave me the idea for the Muto team up originally, because it ends with what if it could make an ally out of a Muto, and I was like, that's a cool idea.
Oh yeah.
Don't you mean, what if Godzilla made a bitch out of one of the Mutos?
Hey, listen, the Muto made a bitch out of Godzilla in that match. Because Godzilla's like, oh, I'm dead. And Muto's like, the fuck you are. Get your ass up, walk over there, and kick its ass.
Yeah. Get up.
I'll
kick
say
its
this.
ass.
If that Muto had the voice of Greyshot, I'll just say, no thanks, I'm gonna die here. You
No,
can drink shit by yourself.
Wouldn't that be Heisei Godzilla from the first Shrek match?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, listen, here's my note to her, and this is a side tangent, but here's my note for writers. People are not going to like your match. A lot of people might not like your match, but that doesn't mean you should stop writing. And this is evident that there are still plenty of, if you've got talent, if you can write, keep improving on it, keep doing better, and just because one person has a dissenting opinion That doesn't mean everyone else does, and there's probably there are probably some people that do like your match but are silent. Because usually, fun fact, a person that is negative against something will leave a comment. I leave 1 out of... Crap, I forget the statistic. In any case, it's highly more likely someone's going to leave a negative comment than leave a positive comment. By, like, a massive amount. Like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. So keep it up, keep writing.
Like, I know we make fun of things in, like, the committee reads and whatnot, but in my personal opinion, I actually do want to have writers, like, actually keep writing. Like, if they have the ability to push through, that's my personal no.
Yeah, definitely. And when there's a match I really like, I give it all the praise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think I said anything bad about 88.
Yeah, 88's still probably one of my... 88, I think out of the first 100 matches, I think 88 and 14 are probably 2 of my favorites that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think 88 and 89 are my favorites.
See, out of the first
13.
Out of the first 100, I'd probably say 164 is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first 100, 164.
But no, but getting back to the match itself, overall thoughts on the match, really enjoyed making the banner. Yes, it doesn't have too much connectivity, but I need it in like an apocalyptic scenario, and I thought this would be a nice representation and have all the monsters fighting with different angles. The match itself, I do enjoy. The details, very good. Thank you, Birdman, again, for the assistance on this one. I did like the ideas of like Grand King Ghidorah's backstory and Mechagodzilla fighting to the very bitter end, and the finale that I added with Mechagodzilla getting destroyed by every monster and the resulting explosion. It's probably one of my favorite kills of any monster that I've ever written. / read. Because, yeah, fun fact, originally this match had Mechagodzilla, Rodan fired the beam, he exploded, Godzilla grabbed him, ripped him apart, he then exploded again, and then he exploded like a third time, or maybe it was just the second time, but he exploded more, which was just like... But because it was like, it made note that he felt he was in pieces, like he was nothing but like, like shrapnel, and then Godzilla ripped him apart again, and then he exploded again. I'm like... What?
Okay, I'm glad you made that change then.
Yeah. But overall, I think I actually did like this match, and I would probably give it out of a 5. I'd probably give it a solid 3 out of 5. Also,
that's the guy who got laughed out of Justice League.
I gave Justice League actually the same score, a 6 out of 10.
Ew.
But also, I will make note that when this originally was up, I messaged Chris, Living Corpse, and I was like, "Hey, your match is up," and he's like, "I never wrote a match," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't remember that match," and immediately I'm just like, "Oh shit! Did I accidentally give it to the ownership to the wrong person?" Immediately, like, hey man, listen, I sent him like an image of the, what it was written. Like, tell me if this was you, if you sent this in. I'll see if I can find the original writer then, if it wasn't you. Immediately got a response. No, I'm not saying I didn't write it. I'm just saying I don't remember ever writing it. There's a difference. I'm like, oh. Well,
Did he pour the bleach on his brain?
He tried to unite us if such a terrible match.
Yeah. But in any case, that is 216. It was the final match of 2017. So let's head over to let's go to 217 for the first match of 2018.
2018. Yeah, I know that gets all confusing. I can't wait till we get to the 220 matches. That way, we're not mixing up 220s with 2018s.
Man, it's like we spent the whole year dedicated to 2017.
Yeah, I know, right? Clearly.
But here, let's jump in, shall we? So we have Mothra versus Hedorah, round 2. Bird Zone, thoughts?
It doesn't say round 2 on the site.
Yeah, it didn't say that for some reason.
A bit of an
Good
issue.
job, Greyshot.
Yeah,
it's not Greyshot's problem. That's Anthony's side.
Yeah.
No, it's always Greyshot's fault.
Actually, we're both.
It's either you or Greyshot's problem.
Brothers now.
get my bro to edit that when he updates again. So, Birdman, what are your thoughts on
As
217?
someone who liked the original Mothra vs. Dora at this squad, it feels like the original, but an improvement if that's possible. Because I don't think the original could be improved. I really like this one. Like the idea, like Mothra's not giving up. That's going to keep fighting to the bitter end. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool.
I give it 3 out of
Very
5
cool.
average.
Wow.
Technically,
was
slightly
you.
above average. On the scale, 2.5 technically would be the average. Any case, moving on.
I really like this match. As Birdman said, I really liked how Mothra just fought on till the end. And how the villagers kept her going and kept her motivated. It almost felt like a tribute to Mothra, which I really liked. My only problem was that it was a little too short, but I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's almost the same length as the first Mothra versus Hedorah, which I think is kind of fitting.
It's almost.
It's
like
actually
a soft
217 is
reboot.
actually like a couple words shorter than 221.
It's almost like it's a soft reboot.
Yep.
Because in a sense, I think you could read this without having to read the first one, and it will still
kind of.
fit.
And
Okay, go ahead.
I'm also glad that there's another round 2 match. I'd welcome more.
Yeah, it's
What GBZ really said is that I hope there's more round 2, so my favorite monsters would finally win for once.
Yes, your favorite characters like Gomorrah and Zilla and Ultraman.
Yeah. But no, yeah, this that's why I kind of wanted to start it off with 2018, and the reason why I picked this match was because I've had it for a while now, and I thought, well, let's do something, we don't have this isn't a 20 or a 5, so it wasn't going to be something super special, but like a new monster or something like we had last year. But with what we have, I was like, this would be a nice way to start off, like a round 2, a continuation, and yeah.
What Greyshot really meant is I'm just reaching out the bottom of the barrel for this one.
I assure you have not reached that point yet.
The barrel, not the
I'm
bottom.
actually getting worried about 300 because I'm like, shit, we have to find something that tops 100, 150, 200. What will be 250?
Oh boy, that's what. Honestly, I'm thinking the same thing. It's like, what the heck can we do to top friggin'? It's like, how the heck do we top like?
Just make it anticlimactic as hell. Make it a really short match, like 500 words with the 2 most best monsters.
That would be great. Just make it a 500 word match.
Make it Gazora versus Kumasagami round 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
That'd be great. Electric Boogaloo. Other thoughts, or is it passed on to me?
I'm done.
He has finished.
Yeah, I'll say this match was actually a lot of fun, and like what Alex said, this is a match you could easily read without ever having read the original. But I think it actually serves as an interesting, I actually do like the way this match uses the ending of match 21 as a platform for match. It's like you can easily read match 21 on its own accord. And the victory to Hedorah is the victory for Hedorah is justified. It's like, oh yeah, now he's going to finish her off. But the 217 uses that ending as a platform for Mothra's continued struggle. So it's like, it's the part 2 of a match you didn't think you want, but it's surprisingly really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually do really really enjoy a lot of this match, and heck, I'm actually super happy Mothra won. you know?
Mhm.
Wins, and, you know, it's like, granted, Hedera has a couple losses under his belt, but nothing too bad. Perhaps,
Oh,
nice.
he has the same win-loss ratio as Kamunga and Kumasagami. So that's a fun fact.
What Kaiju X really meant is, I'm glad the pretty butterfly won instead of the ugly fog monster.
And I'll say, I actually had a nice bit of fun making the banner for this one, even if some of the effects might not have been what I wanted, but it was like, okay, I could work with this, I could work with that. I'm really happy with the way Mothra turned out. Like, I enjoy, like, oh, her eyes are faded, she's losing, she's crashing into the water, and then you have, like, the water Hedera swimming, and then you got the flying one there, too. I'll be honest, I just threw in the final Hedera, like, right there, just because I need to fill in the space. I was like, I need something there.
Are we trying to remember Hedora as he died valiantly?
As he died valiantly in battle.
Valiantly stretching it, I think.
Let's face it, he was a huge piece of shit. Okay, anyway. But yeah, honestly, yeah, Match 217, this is a solid opener for 2018. Hopefully all the matches that are to come.
Yep.
But yeah, GVJ, your thoughts?
Unlike 216, I actually enjoyed this match.
Shocker.
I know, right? But yeah, like I said, you don't actually need to read the first one to get a good idea, or actually need to read the first one to read this one. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Mothra has a motive to save her people. And again, it serves as a nice finale to this duology that we didn't need, but it's a welcome one. I will say on the banner, some of the waves, like from the Sea Hedora and Mothra, could be a bit better. They look like they're just added on. I don't know if anyone feels.
No, I
feels the same way.
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was one of my earlier banners too. So it's like, I could definitely have done some improvements here and there for sure.
Other than that, the banner's pretty good. The waves are my only complaint on it.
Oh, right. The riddle. I'm just kidding.
Comically enough, this actually ties into the 216 because this is the exact same kind of format I had in that match, which was Orga was instead Godzilla was in the fire, and then there were 3 Hedoras. There was a flying in the distance. There was the small there's a small version on the ground, and the large one standing all facing Orga, which was coming out of the fire. So this actually kind of reminds me of that banner because of the placement and having all 3 forms.
Call it a hutch, but I think Greyshot likes to steal for himself.
No, I got Jackson's banner, and I was just like, yeah.
That's just way too
KWCX
good.
also made a banner.
I made my own banner for that one. That was a really weak one. I'm glad it was never used.
Well, Jackson's has the unique bonus of being sponsored.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what?
Because of the sign in the background on one of the buildings.
What sign?
I can't remember what it was, but
Hang on, I'll look this up.
Which one, for Orga versus Hedora?
Yep.
Hang on, I'm looking this up now.
I think it's right next to
Hedora
Hedora or right above Orga. There's a bright blue sign. I can't remember what it says.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. I can't tell what it is, though.
Ace.
Chase?
Yeah, there's Chase. That's one that I see a sign like next to Orga's face, but I don't know what that's saying. I can't really see it.
Kill me.
I think there's one for Detroit.
Who cares about Detroit?
Godzilla does.
I was born and raised in Detroit.
I don't see any self-name labeling in there, but I might do that for one of my matches. A banner I'll make, so thanks for the idea.
Scylla vs. Gamera, sponsored by Coca-Cola.
I think it says Chase. Which I think may be a company, I don't know.
Company.
It's
It's
a
just
bakery.
a company. No one knows for sure.
It's just a company.
Chase
Company
is a
Enterprises.
Enterprises. Company Enterprises Incorporated.
Company Enterprises Incorporated Limited.
With that said, I think we have officially covered all new.
Actually, that's just on a quick note in regards to the match show. My note again, like the banner, like the match, but honestly, I didn't kind of. This wasn't a match I really enjoyed. Honestly, of the two, I would have probably gone with 216.
Remember, guys, same person who liked Justice League. Don't take it seriously.
No, but my main reasoning is if you compare the two, yes, they flow well, but the amount of punishment, quote unquote, that is given to Hedorah never in the first match, like he's damaged, but it never seems like he's like there's a threat to him. Like this is very much he's as the edge, whereas this one, it's all of a sudden everything is working against him. Like the attacks that had no effect or little effect are now doing damage. So in that way, it didn't really flow as well. Like I know.
Oh, right.
I kind of I know this is in regards to yes, this is a new writer and different styles, and technically this is a way for Mothra to get the win. But in regards to what had come before, it didn't 100% work. For me.
Sequel, yeah, it has like inconsistencies. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Why do you think I said it's soft reboot?
So what you're saying is, Mothra only won for the power of feminism.
Yeah, Mothra only won because it was written by a woman and because Mothra is a female.
And it was produced by Disney.
Produced by Disney.
Mothra Disney Princess now.
Kaiju, do you think you could make a version of
Mothra's-
this banner with Hedorah and Mothra having Mickey Mouse hats? Just to symbolize it's Disney.
Mothra's a Mary Sue. She took on Hedorah without knowing how to use a lightsaber.
Hedorah versus Orga match actually still looks really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Really good banner.
Yeah, put both of us to shame. But yeah, so with those matches out of the way, I have a new game to play.
Wait, we have to talk about the KWCE.
We do?
Oh right, yeah,
Right, you're right. Yeah, the KWCE.
Oh
What
yeah,
the?
the new match.
We have 2 new matches.
2?
Let's see. What was the one? That's right. I think
We have Rayquaza versus Monster X and
Didn't read
Shrek v. Kamageddon.
Oh. Why did I bring that up?
we went over match 12 last time on the KWCE, but we have had 2 new KWCE matches. We have had Thy Lord Shrek versus Agent Kamageddon, Dawn of Shrekness, and Rayquaza versus Monster X. So, Shrek came first, but at the same time, Rayquaza would probably be easier to talk about. So.
Yeah, it's a lot shorter.
Well, I
I'll
haven't
just start
read,
with myself.
I haven't read the
I didn't
Rayquaza
read it.
match. Yeah, I didn't either.
I'll get to it sometime.
Yeah, I feel bad for Godzilla versus Rayquaza now. I don't really read his matches when they come out.
I'm glad you reminded me because I almost forgot. I'm telling you, anytime Godzilla vs. Rayquaza comes up, the author, it's like, forget his match. Just completely forget.
Nobody cares about the KWCE.
Except you, because you write stuff for it.
Yeah, I know.
They only go for to the KWCE for Shrek.
To be 100% honest, with all that has been going on, I have not paid too much attention to the forums, so I missed on these matches. So they'll be on my to-read lists.
Are you trying to imply that you
Well, I
actually
mean,
have
for
to
you,
fight?
they kind of have to be.
Yes.
So, Kaiju X, what did you think of Rayquaza versus Monster X? Since you edited
Rayquaza
it,
versus Monster X was an overall like a decently solid match. I do kind of like the transition from space to Castelia City. Well, I do feel like the Rayquaza versus Monster X segment may have been, I don't know, just a little short. Like, when Monster X turns with the Kaiser Ghidorah, it's like, things kick into high gear, they start beating the crap out of each other and whatnot. And then Rayquaza evolves into a Mega Rayquaza, and then they just throw down. I really enjoy the last bit, but I will say, yeah, the Monster X versus Kaiser Ghidorah bit, or Rayquaza versus Kaiser Ghidorah may have went on longer than I hoped for. I just wish that it could have been balanced out with a shorter Rayquaza versus Kaiser Ghidorah fight and a longer Rayquaza versus Monster X fight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
And just again, going off what I immediately think of, and again, I think of Rayquaza if it was like the size of like an actual kaiju, fighting. That match immediately doesn't strike me as balanced against Monster X, because unless Monster X transforms into Kaiser Ghidorah, Rayquaza just stays in the air and just like basically strafes him until he dies. That's just me in regards to like the Pokemon. Hyper Beam, like.
The Greyshot, Pokemon rules. You can't use Hyper Beam after one turn.
you can't spam Hyper Beam, says the anime.
But wait, you guys forgot something. Monster X has a Master Ball. You just have to aim it right.
But he has to use the Pokemon Go touch controls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I will say I do enjoy the climactic fight between Kaiser Ghidorah and Mega Rayquaza. That I thought was really nice. Just like I said, just a little bit of balancing between the Rayquaza versus Monster X to Rayquaza versus Kaiser Ghidorah segment of the story. But other than that, I do like the way it finishes it off.
Oh, he does turn Kaiser Ghidorah. Okay, never mind. Strafing is no longer an option. Strafing is no longer an option.
Gosh darn it,
Greyshot, you forgot. Kaiju Ghidorah is too fast to fly.
Gravity, son.
But he does have the gravity beam, so can't he just shoot them at the ground and cause the ground to levitate up toward Rayquaza?
What are the limits of Kaiser Ghidorah's gravity beams when used on things that aren't kaiju?
Let's not discuss that. In any case, let's go to the next match.
Well, wait, hold on.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess on who's gonna win, considering who the author is. On Shrek.
Yes.
Oh, I'd go with Shrek in a heartbeat.
I would say
definitely.
Donkey.
Wow.
I like how we're all taking guesses, like, and the winner is...
Nobody.
Godzuki.
Farmer of Shotgun.
Hey guys, for some reason it says match 164. I don't know why. It just says the winner is match 164. That's weird. Shouldn't that be loser?
Loser. That would be great. That would be great. Just have loser.
It's like winner 164, loser audience.
Oh shoot. To the next KWCE match, parody match that capped off 2017. CE number 19-8, 18-5-11, Thy Lord Shrek versus Ancient Kamagidon, Dawn of Shrekness.
So, what you guys think?
Let's see. Birdman, what'd you think of it?
Shrek, that's it.
Wait, what'd you say? Shrekalizes it?
Shrek is Drek.
Sure,
Drek. I'm sorry, Drek was last match.
Yeah, Shrek died. You don't know your Shrek lore.
Fool, I am Drek.
Oh, that's what happened.
Watch the anime before you read the manga.
But Shrek killed you. He killed you with his Super Saiyan powers, which he doesn't use in this one for some reason. Because
some
of
inexplicable
reasons.
reason.
I have to go to move real quick. Be right back.
Alright.
Okay.
Let's see. I doubt Greyshot read it, so Joe, what'd you think of it?
Ye are not wrong. Ye are not wrong.
Since I wrote parts of it, I really liked it.
Raider.
I did really like it. I thought it was really funny and really well written and just an enjoyable story.
That's
Although
the way to
long,
spend your day.
although it is long, it doesn't feel long because I've read it before.
Yeah, we took
And-
turns reading it.
What?
We took turns reading it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's like one person watched the kid while the other went to work.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I will say, like, just speaking for myself here, as the guy who had to edit this in like 2 days, holy crap, was that a friggin'. That was a friggin', like. Yeah, that was a monster to edit.
I know, I'll
Mhm.
say this, I feel really bad, and I'm hoping for the
Yeah.
last one, I'm hoping to get an earlier start.
Fine. That sort of thing happens. And it's like, yeah. Besides, it pushes me to better limits. It pushes me to my limits to see, okay, can I really do this with a strict schedule on the line? It's like, can I really get this through?
And for some reason,
So
he got orange glowing hair, and he started screaming a lot after he broke his limit. It was weird.
Yeah, Kaiju X wasn't the same.
Yeah.
He started saying God damn it instead of gosh darn it.
Yeah, it started evolving. Gosh darn it, evolved. Gosh darn it, evolved into gosh freaking darn it. Second stage. I will say the story, I think, is actually a lot of fun. I actually very much enjoyed the story for this one. But I will say, as the editor, there were definitely a lot of changes I had to make. Like, there was a lot of repetition in, like, terms like, not that the dialogue was fine. I generally had very little changes of the original dialogue. A lot of that is very much the same compared to the original. But something like, say, like, there was a lot of some of it I left in there because I felt like, okay, it worked. Welcome back. Yeah, I kept. There were a couple of the original versions that I kept because I felt like, okay, it's fine. I can keep it that way. But there were times where it was just like there was just certain phrases or wordings for explanations, or when someone's expressing something that just felt very repetitive, and I was like, okay, I have to. I very much have to very much intervene, very much just try and clean up as much as I could. With the understanding that I only had 2 days to do it. Everything was relatively consistent, so it's like, because of the way this sort of kind of I kind of took with the it's stating where it is. So it's like Prime Minister Shin's office, Shrek Swamp. It's like that. It was like, okay, I'll keep that consistent. So it's like anything that was said back on Monster Island that just got rid of. So it was like, why say that if we already have it there?
Yeah. And there's a joke of that.
Monster Island, the undisclosed location. Yeah, that was a tricky one right there. I was like, the undisclosed location, the match was that was one of the hardest things I had to decide on. Where it was how do I get away with it while still, spoiler alert, while still trying to figure out, oh hey, they're on the Garoga home planet, but how do I say in such a way that doesn't come off as a lie, per se? So it was undisclosed location is probably the best way I could do it, without spoiling, oh hey, Junior and company are on the Garoga planet now.
Yeah.
Because Toho never bothered to explain what their location.
Mm-hmm.
And they made up new places, so...
Yeah.
So you can't really go for it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So to say.
I do like some of the things that even Alex kind of pointed out. Like, I remember I was talking to Alex a lot about how we were going to structure this, because we're going to be entering a lot of spoiler territory for this one, so maybe mute for like 5 minutes or something. I don't know. Do as you want.
Oh, we'll find a way to tell you.
Read the match first, but very fun and funny story with the ending that's like, oh dang, things are really going to escalate by the next part. That's right. Yeah, we were talking about there are of course you get Shrek and Kamagidon. There are actually other monsters that are very much part of the there are other monster cards that you don't see until much later. And I remember I was talking about that. I was like, what should we do about this part? And I kind of figured this is a parody match. There are always exceptions to the rules, if that makes sense. Because I always want to keep all the information you need is up here. So it's here are all the monsters, here are all the arenas they go to, here's the other information, and then you can just read the match, pretty much by itself. With this, in the case of parody matches, I always make exceptions. It's obviously it's taking liberties with the style and whatnot. It's I don't mind that. So in that case, it was it made it very easy, much easier to hide Team Project Fusion, comprising of Sea Baragon, Flying Ebra, King Godzilla, and Bemgears.
Well, the wrong Bemgears.
I had those editor's notes just spliced throughout. Not too many of them. I didn't want to overstay my welcome. I just definitely want to throw stuff in there in case I need to acknowledge something. So it's oh, hey, it's for the crawling one. It's oh, yeah, you have the crawling version. That's more your style. It's editor's note. Alternatively, there's also crawling if that suits your style. Or my personal favorite editor's note of this one is the one under Team Fusion that just says, should we note that this conflict with what's on the card, because in the match Bemgears is Angear's upper half, lower half Bemular, but the images Nagoda made was upper half Bemular, rest of the body Angears.
Yeah.
So it's should we know this conflicts with what's on the card? Well, my response is
and I
we're
a cohesive
unit.
I actually did forget what Bemgears looked like while I was writing the fight.
I did
ask. I just pictured Nagoda's Bemgears instead of our Bemgears.
All right. Oh my goodness! I will say it's I was willing to edit that to make it consistent with what was on Nagoda's version, but Alex insisted that just keep it as it is. So I was all right.
I kind of like the way how Shin and Bemular acted, how Shin killed him.
The way Prime Minister Shin axes off Bemular, yeah. So
yeah, I love that part. When I did read
my favorite part.
Yeah, when I read that part for the first time, I read it, and I would keep going through messages from Alex to see what I had to do. I would actually go back and just read the entire Bemular section again because I just loved it so much. It was hilarious.
Wow, they are gold.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And I like the Evangelion reference.
Right. Yeah, the Evangelion reference was great in that one. Oh my goodness. Did you have any additional thoughts to add on for Match Shrek?
Oh, for me?
Fantastic title.
Yep.
I think. Well, I will say this. I do regret forgetting on one part. I was gonna, when Shrek and Donkey are in the Groga base, I was gonna have a joke that spoofs the joke from Thor Ragnarok, the get help joke. Shrek says to Donkey,
"Oh yeah,
I got an idea." And he says, "Let's do Donkey Punch," and Donkey says, "No, I don't want to do that." So he just punches Donkey launches forward there. A few Grogan.
Yeah, we forgot about that. And there was going to be one joke from me about Gorosaurus burrowing, and Gorosaurus would have actually burrowed in the match, but I forgot about it.
Part 3 can't handle, am I right?
Also, I'm going to interrupt you, Alex. One of my favorite parts that I wrote was the dungeon scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just has a ton of cameos. Like, well, not a ton, there were like 5 of them. And they were really fun to come up with.
Fighter was great. I'll just throw that out there right now. Oh my goodness, Zone Fighter was great.
Yep.
Originally, I was gonna have him go for like a more Saw Gerrera type of attitude, like from Rogue One, but eventually I decided to change it to Crazy Cannibal.
Which I think works because honestly, that was really funny.
Yep.
Oh, well, I never ate ass before.
But you ate a Jeep pie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, Godzilla Jr. was really fun to write.
Yeah. Even that one
He
part
was-
that I wrote him for, he was fun.
Mm-hmm. He was hilarious, and I like that he used the Mothra larva as a weapon.
I
That
didn't hear you because I was minding.
Well, admit the Fusion Monsters bit was actually decent build up. I was like, where is this going with the Fusion Monsters thing? I was like, oh, so that's the way it was going with it. Oh yeah, I did kind of like the way the Fusion Monsters were brought in and whatnot. That was actually really neat.
Mm-hmm. Also, here's a little fun fact about kind of a joke. So when Godzilla Jr. Godzilla Jr. finally gets to encounter Shrek, he says he's mad because Shrek doesn't know who he is. But ironically, Godzilla Jr. doesn't know Shrek's name. And I made this clear whenever he brought up Shrek, he would just say the ogre.
Knew what he was, but he
And-
didn't know his name.
Yeah. And I thought that was, and I didn't realize that bit of irony in that part until I was just thinking about it, and I thought that was really funny, and I couldn't really believe I didn't notice that before.
Right.
well, here, guys. With that, with Kamagedon versus Shrek out of the way.
Shrek versus Kamagedon.
Yeah. So you guys want to quickly discuss Godzilla Monster Planet before we move on to, because that's on the new section. Before we go over to the actual the new show or the new game.
Absolutely. Good idea. Let's see. I guess we'll just go top to bottom, I suppose. Man, have you seen Monster Planet?
I have not, no.
Oh, is it not released in your country yet on Netflix?
Well, no, it's just that I have Netflix.
Gotcha.
Okay. How do you feel about spoilers? Do you want to remain spoiler-free?
I've heard what I've heard to already. My opinion on it, I can't really say. It's an interesting take, certainly, but one heard it isn't really done to its full potential. Like, there is stuff there, but it's not expanded upon enough to make a good story.
Yeah.
In regards to those like new monsters, I use new figuratively. Bit lazy. I mean, those are my thoughts.
Alright. Gotcha. Greyshot. Have you seen Monster Planet, or Planet of the Monsters as it's properly
Yes,
called?
I saw Godzilla Monster Planet, and what I will say, it is a 5 out of 10 for me. Now, you can see that on the Greyshot Productions review, which should be coming out shortly. But the main sticking points for me is the main lead is interesting, but not as fleshed out as possible. There's a lot of build-up with not as much payoff, but this is part 1 of 3. But still, that really shouldn't happen, because what this honestly feels like is a TV show, and this was the first 3 episodes. Secondly, the animation it was better than I first thought. Still is kind of lackluster in some areas, specifically in the regards to the first Godzilla design. I honestly preferred the second version better. And last but not least, the one thing I did enjoy was the beginning. The setup was very interesting. I liked the opening. I liked the detailed background. And I think that was personally the highlight for me. Excluding that, though... Oh, and the music. The music was good because it did feel like a classic Godzilla movie in that regard. Like, it made me feel like, okay, this is a classic monster movie.
Did they use new music, or was it like the Shin?
All new music.
It was
All
new music.
All new music, which is very nice. It honestly felt more. It felt like more like a Godzilla movie with the music, even though it doesn't sound. It doesn't have like the original scores. It felt more like, okay, this is a monster movie. I can get invested in it. Much better than Shin did, and it reused a lot of music. And overall, if you had a gun to my head and said, which movie do you have to watch again, Godzilla Monster Planet or Shin Godzilla, I would watch this in a heartbeat. Because Shin is a better movie, but I would not watch it again. It's not one of my favorite movies. But that's just me. Though, of course, if you threw in the American Godzilla, I will right now say that apparently the United States has the better representation of Godzilla than Japan at the moment. But, when it comes to design.
Well, I think it's like I said one time. I think America won round 2. Because if we're doing round 1 with Godzilla 2098, Japan easily won. But with 2014 and Shin, I think America won. But I digress. Continue on. Who's gonna say their thoughts next?
Oh, GEC, your thoughts?
I thought it was okay. I might have to watch it again sometime, because I watched it with some friends on Discord, and we were watching it on Rabbit, and so there was a lot of talking, and some people actually did spoil it for me. But I was able to follow along with the story.
Sounds like a
And
terrible audience to watch it with.
yeah. And my main criticism of the movie is that everything feels rushed. Like, everything goes by too fast, and the movie is just too short, and I feel like the story suffers from that. Like, there could have been more explored, but like, too much is happening, and it's going by too fast.
Yeah, my brother made the point to me, and I actually have to agree. This feels more like a TV series they put into a movie format than a movie.
Actually,
Yeah,
let me cut in and say you are completely correct on that. This Monster Planet, Planet of the Monsters, was originally meant to be a TV series. It was requested by Toho, probably going off of Shin Godzilla's success, to say, hey, let's just make these movies like a trilogy of movies, basically saying episodes 1 to 4 is going to be one movie, 5 to 8 is going to be another movie, and then like 9 to 12 will be the third. Yeah, if you have been noticing the episodic, like that episodic vibe from it, that just feels like this feels more like a TV series sort of thing. Then yeah, that's the case because it was meant to be a TV series. The way it was structured was meant to be a TV series. It was just a bit of a, I think, sort of last second decision to make it a trilogy of movies instead.
Wow.
I thought the characters were generic. They didn't really have much to them other than the main character, but even then he's just generic. Like we've seen this revenge thing done before, and someone actually did say that and I haven't watched the show before, but he's like Aaron from Attack on Titan.
So I think he has the same voice actor in Japanese, actually.
Oh wow. The other thing I will say is,
but
maybe it's just me. Sorry to cut you in. But is it just me, or did they imply that he's the one that blew up the shuttle? Is that just me that got that shtick as well?
I think I could see how you could make that assessment. Like there are some vague implications of maybe somebody did blow up the shuttle at the way beginning, or maybe it was just a freak accident. But it feels more like, oh, it might have been purposefully blown up. But we cleared the thing of the bomb after we got Haru out.
See, right now I'm thinking, if it keeps going and he keeps getting more and more obsessed, I'm thinking it's like the white whale situation with like Moby Dick, because I know this would seem weird, but I think from how it looks up, it almost seems like maybe Haro put the explosives. He knew he'd be removed. He detonated them that way because he knew there's only one place it could go, and that's back to Earth.
I mean, I don't think he, like, even if he was, I'd imagine he might do that sort of thing again when he's more off his rocker. But as of right now, I don't think he's off his rocker enough to be the guy that would purposefully put bombs on the ship as it left. I don't think that's going to be it. But if there is a similar situation later on, and assuming he does lose his mind in a traditional Ahab sense, then yeah, I could see that happening.
Okay.
Chances are that won't happen because that actually sounds interesting.
Because immediately when I saw the character, I'm like immediately thought like Light, like in that regard. Like he seems like a good guy, but then slowly over the series you realize he's just pure fucking evil.
We'll see. So, because the writer Gen Urobuchi is a guy who's known for like a lot of very dark and sort of nihilistic themes with this project. So who knows? Maybe we'll see that with the other two installments. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, GVZ, but continue.
That's okay. But I did like the animation. I felt like it got progressively better as the movie went on, because at first I wasn't a fan of it, but the more I watched, the more I liked it, mostly in the action scenes, which are really good. I also did like Godzilla. He was pretty interesting. I liked what they did in the end with him, without spoiling too much.
I don't care. I still haven't seen it, but I don't care about spoilers for that. Yeah.
I would say it's slightly better than Shin.
But it's not comparable.
this movie doesn't have too much of the same thing, too much repetition that Shin did, but it's still really flawed. There's some, like Shin, there are some good moments I do like, but it's just, the whole movie just feels rushed, and I don't even know if I'm excited for the second and third movies now, because so much of this feels like setup, and
what's the payoff going to be?
Yeah, and I don't know what the payoff would be.
The payoff kind of is like a terrible Mechagodzilla.
It's kind of like The Last Jedi. I just don't know where they're gonna go with this.
Or just don't care.
Yeah. It also kind of just felt like an extended universe book.
Since you compared it to Last Jedi, does Godzilla grab the boob of some animal and start drinking milk out of it?
Or say no.
Oh,
Well, this is a movie about family.
Oh,
that's
God.
true. Are you saying Godzilla and the main character are brothers?
Yes.
The main character is actually a Renegade Dragon hybrid.
No, Ren is the only one who can save those movies.
Also, I don't know if it was just me, but did the tanks just look like Mechagodzilla heads on wheels? Like, they reminded me of the head of the new Mechagodzilla.
It kind of, honestly, the thing that reminded me the most were the uniforms people wore. They reminded me of the original Exilians. I mean,
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Other than that, I didn't really notice too many things that struck me as like the old.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
Well, that kind of makes me think that the Mechagodzilla's head is just fire, like, we'll just fire stuff at Godzilla. So it'll just be like a big tank that just has arms and legs. Which is admittedly what Mechagodzilla kind of is, mostly in Heisei.
It was a weird Mechagodzilla design because he did look like he was stitched together.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
the design's a little.
Yeah. Plus, it would be interesting to see it in motion. But the other thing you have to think of,
Yeah.
They made it to fight the small Godzilla. So it's the small Godzilla size, not the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was made to fight him 20,000 years ago. And it's like that's one point I'm actually kind of curious about to see what are they going to do since the Mechagodzilla they built was of the 50-meter 20,000 years ago era.
Mm-hmm.
But since Godzilla's grown much bigger over time, it's like, okay, it's like, how are they going to have Mechagodzilla compete with that? And, how well will Mechagodzilla actually put up in a fight? That's actually going to be, that's something I'm interested on. But for my personal thoughts with Planet of the Monsters, I watched it twice. First time I saw in the dub, second time I saw in the Japanese version. I will say the dub's actually pretty good. I actually rather enjoyed the dub. It sounded pretty on point compared to the Japanese version. So I think it's like if you have no real sort of a care for sub or dub, then hey, the dub is I can at least recommend it. But I do, strangely, in a weird way, I do personally kind of, I don't know. I think I do kind of like the Japanese version just a pinch more, just a pinch. But the dub's actually pretty good here, if you ask me.
Hold on, I'm gonna interrupt for a minute. So Kaiju X, are you saying they're with the smaller Mechagodzilla? Are you saying they're gonna finally make a film version of the Godzilla game on PS4 where the small Mechagodzilla fought the giant Godzilla that one time?
No. They'll put Mechagodzilla on stilts, really, really big stilts, and have him fight Godzilla.
Really big.
Oh
stilts.
boy. I will say, yeah, like you guys said, I really enjoyed. The setup was really cool. Like the way it sort of starts its world building was really cool. Like I enjoy the fact that it's like, oh yeah, first thing we see is humanity hovering over a different planet, and then we get the backstory of the monsters and whatnot from there. I was like, okay, that was all really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And all those nuclear craters was scary. Hot dang.
Mechagodzilla when he sees the new Godzilla.
Yeah, right. My goodness. That's pretty good. Yeah, there are a lot. Like the first time I watched it, I didn't have any strong care for Haruo. But the second time I watched, I felt like I could appreciate the character a little more. It's nothing new, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it does it all right. He's at least interesting enough to say, okay, I'll follow you, but it's not quite I'm hooked to this character. For that matter, the characters I'm currently more engaged with mentally are the alien guys. I think those guys are actually kind of cool. Very much enjoyed the small part where it was like freaking, oh hey, we failed to construct Mechagodzilla, so we couldn't really turn on anyone even if we wanted to, and your religion didn't really mind wipe the Earthlings either, so shoot, we kind of failed. That was great, but
all your base will belong to us.
yeah, all your base will belong to us. I will say, yeah, one of the biggest faults I think that it's just the way that they decide to say, okay, well, let's make this into 3 movies as opposed to a 12-episode TV series. Because of that particular mentality, its biggest flaw is that this, by itself, holds its own ground, not by itself. I have a feeling that it's like once the other 2 parts come out, you'll be able to see the story for what it is. Then I think watching the first part will actually be worthwhile, since it is mostly set up. Like, you need to get everything set up, you need to get everything going, and understandably, like, that's kind of what you have to do. It's just that taking episodes and putting it into a movie style isn't quite going to be as beneficial as you think in terms of pacing. Like, there's just a different pacing you have to take when you're doing it as a movie as opposed to doing it episode TV series kind of thing. So, yeah, a lot of Planet of the Monsters faults simply were a byproduct of simply saying, okay, we're going to make this in the movies now. Like, that is its biggest flaw so far. But I am at least engaged enough with the main character to say, okay, I kind of care. At least now I do. I do very much enjoy the world. I very much enjoy the new Earth that we're seeing. I'm very curious to see where we're going to go, especially with that post-credits sequence. That has me curious. That has me really curious. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I can second that. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I will say that.
Wow.
That reveal, that final reveal bit, oh, great.
Yeah,
Holy
that's the best part. Again, I make note of this. Why did I say 2 Godzillas if they're both technically the same design? Because the second one actually looks dustier, grayer, older. It looks better, and maybe because they only keep angles from looking up to it instead of looking front on. Because, yeah, Godzilla, the front on shots of the Godzilla just don't look good. They really don't.
I will say this, even though I haven't seen it, I'll say it does something way better than Shin. This one This one actually feels like it's about family.
Oh,
It's about family.
no.
Okay, what did I miss?
This movie is about family.
Apparently, the movie's about
Monster
it.
Planet is about family.
It's about family, and that's what's so great about it.
I mean, Godzilla's pissed that the little Godzilla got killed.
Yeah.
Anyway, with all that said, those were our thoughts on Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, or as I kept referring to it as Godzilla Monster Planet, but I don't care. That's just the name I'm used to.
Yeah. I think
Shut
never
What's the
mind.
new thing you got?
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new section. We usually had the KWC battle as of recently, but now we have a new game.
That's
We
fine.
will be testing it out.
Hmm?
It's called Whose Battle Is It Anyway? Which case, I will give you a small section of the match, and you guys have to guess which match it is. You're not allowed to look into... Okay, you're going on Scout's Honor, because obviously I can't look at your the controller, or your controller. I can't look at what you guys are actually, looking up and whatnot, so try not to be assholes and look things up, thank you.
Oh, I won't look at anything.
Says the trashy verifier. Anyway.
Basically, you guys, based on what the context clues I give you, have to guess which match it is. Whoever guesses or has the most right at the end wins. It'll be after 3 rounds, possibly 4 rounds if there is a tie.
Oh, this is actually kind of interesting. I actually like this.
Okay,
Keep
so
this in mind
you
for
guys are
future.
allowed to look at the list of matches in the KWC, but you can't click on a match and look inside. Because
Gotcha.
just in case.
Okay.
So, for instance, we'll start.
Oh,
out-
and who's gonna stop me?
Well, for
Well,
instance,
if you look, Greyshot's gonna make Anthony shut down TK for a day.
first one.
That's
Yeah,
a
right.
bad thing.
I'm posting it right now, but you guys are not allowed to look. You guys are not allowed to look at the match. You guys can use context clues and you guys can have a discussion. But first off, this should be. An
We're not
easier
allowed to
one.
look.
So here's round 1. On whose battle is it anyway?
Okay.
So,
Is it?
Gamera versus Dora.
So, hold on. God damn it. First off,
It's Gamera versus Dora. I know. I could tell the way Greyshot acts.
Yeah, is it Gamer versus Dora?
God damn it. Okay, it's Gamma versus Adora. I was gonna say
Yes.
someone has to read it first.
Too late.
Oh,
Oh, okay, so you have to read it out loud. Okay, gotcha. Once again, this is just the prototype version of this. Once we get the system set up, we'll be good. So,
Exactly.
Point for Alex. Yay.
Okay, no shouting it out. Everyone's gonna give a guess in that regard. So,
we'll
Okay,
just
have
separate.
we'll
I
have
put the
to
take-
we'll have to start the whole thing over now.
Working off of a prototype here, but obviously the readers need context to what we're looking at, so that way
Yeah.
they can have a guess as we're reading it.
exactly.
I think that was the
Tigers,
important part
tigers.
right there. So
Next.
reading
The
Yeah.
audience doesn't matter.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry viewers. Okay, there just to simply separate. So when Greyshot makes his next post, he'll
Okay, this one. Okay, here you
Oh,
go.
that match.
would it be all right if I could read it?
Yes, it's
Right.
perfectly fine.
Baggins shrieked in pain when a micro-oxygen beam carved into his back and forced him to kneel. An all too familiar shriek mocked Baggin from behind, sparking the dragon into a rage. Saw Destroyer, now in his final form, charging right toward him. The creature was back in perfect health and ready for round 2.
Okay, Bird Zone.
Again. Oh,
Bird Zone.
Wait, so am I typing or saying aloud?
Yes, you're just going to say it aloud.
Okay. Name the match or number?
You can just say the name.
Batman versus Destroyer.
Okay. GVZ.
Bagan versus Destroyer.
Okay. Kaiju X.
Megan versus Destroyer.
God damn it.
I'm gonna say the actual real title is Destroyer versus Baggin.
And DJ is correct.
Darn you!
2 points for me. 2 points.
Okay, so what was the giveaway on this match? On this one, and not that it was Big Ann versus everyone Fallout.
Destroyer as well.
It was
Round 2.
Destroyer restored. I
don't-
think Destroyer didn't do that in the original match.
Yeah, I don't recall Destroyer ever encountering Baggin in 56.
Yeah. And round 2.
Mm.
The expressly stated round 2, and the fact that I was like, oh yeah, Destroyer is rejuvenated, are definitely, I think, were the biggest giveaways. The idea of, okay, this isn't Fallout. This is clearly match 143, I think it was. Okay, yeah, Destroyer versus Baggin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, next one. I good thing I made a few extras.
You want me to read it again, or?
Yes, guys.
I think I know this one.
Bolt of Kiru's sword suddenly discharged electricity, causing the Exilian android to screech in severe anguish as its own blades became conductors. Gigan retreated backward from Kiru before the alien cyborg started swiping furiously at Kiru blocked each strike with its blades, causing electricity to flow into Gigan with every block.
Okay, Bird Zone.
164.
Okay, GVZ.
Bagan versus everyone Fallout.
Kaiju X.
This is a tough one. I almost want to say 164.
Okay. So 164 final answer?
Hey, I didn't answer yet.
No, I'm just saying for
He was
Kaiju X.
Oh.
Saying for Kaiju X.
Yeah. That's my final answer.
Okay. GVZ.
It's Alex.
Alex.
God damn.
Gosh darn it, Greyshot.
I
Mixed
still
it up
want to
again.
prefer Greyshot for him
He's like
forget
GVJ.
everybody. My answer is 164. Zilla and Kiryu versus Megalon, Gigan, Monster X, and Orc.
Okay. Actually, you know, it'd be interesting to give a reason why. So yes, I will make note. This is 164. So Bird Zone, Kaiju X, and GVJ, you guys are currently tied. But if I may ask, what caused you guys to?
Hey, I have 3 points.
Yeah.
What caused you guys to realize this one was that match in particular?
The grammar. I recognise your grammar style.
Damn it!
Yeah, it was
It was
definitely.
dirty.
All right, because I do remember there was a very, believe it or not, I read the Baggin trilogy religiously when I was younger. So I know that made Alex gag a little bit in his throat. Which includes Fallout. But because I read that so many times, I did sort of recognize certain words, because I do think there was a scene in that match had double chainsaw hands, and this one here he had the regular blades, regular plain blades. That was one giveaway, and two, the descriptor was different. Yeah, granted, there was a point in the match 56. Kiru stabs Gigan, if memory serves. For that matter, I think there might have been a point in that in 100, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was just simply that was like, there's no way this could be 56, this has to be 164. That was the only other area I could think of that was like, oh yeah, Kiru and Gigan were in that match too.
Okay. In that case, then, okay. So currently we're tied. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm
Hey,
going to keep.
hey, I have 3.
Well, yeah, we're currently tied.
Nope, 3 points.
We're currently tied between Bird Zone, Kaiju X, and Architect. So we're gonna keep
3
going.
points.
We're gonna keep going until we can break this tie. So here's the next one.
Greyshot's a filthy liar. I have 3 points.
Want me to read it again?
Yep.
All right. In victory. With his enemy defeated and Okinawa safe again, he returned to his resting place. A pair of small spaceships and a massive golden-colored orb-like one floating above him roared a challenge to him, beamed up by one of the smaller ships. King Caesar is quite the fighter, the Exilian commander said with a smirk. Useful for my plan in eradicating these giant pests.
Quite the fight that King Caesar is.
Great fighter, King Caesar is. He'll get his ass kicked
Anyway.
in 30 seconds.
Birdman, what do you think it is?
Match 191. Goma versus King Caesar.
Okay. GVZ,
Gomorrah versus King Caesar.
Kaiju X.
Let me see.
Oh, he's cheating. Cheating!
Do the list. I think it'll have to be match 191, Gomorrah versus King Caesar.
191. Okay, and GVJ.
Match 191. Gomer versus King Caesar.
Okay, so you're all right. What was the tell?
It
King
was
Caesar survived.
Exilians.
The Exilians.
Definitely Exilians. Like I just simply looked through the list, trying to remember the stories behind. I just went through the list, like Control F King Caesar, and just went through all the matches that were like, okay, King Caesar was in this one, or at least expressly in that one. But there were no other matches that I could recall that I saw his name in that were Exilian involved. I think this is one of the few matches in which King Caesar actually has ties with the Exilians to some capacity.
Mm-hmm. Except that there's some other match that's coming up.
I mean, eventually there will be exceptions to the rule, and I'm sure there will be more Exilian controlled King Caesars in the future. But for now, like, this is probably one of the only cases where King Caesar is, like, Exilian tied to it right now. So match 191 was the only one that I recalled that ever had that.
Who would want to write an Exilian King Caesar?
Okay, well, since we're still tied, we're gonna keep going. I will stump one of you. Here we go. Here's the next one.
Are you
Monique
still going
continued-
after French fry?
As Monique continued her deadpan rejection of Randy's offer, a snarky female voice interrupted Nick's thoughts. The French fry, huh? Elsie and Craven walked from the lab, Nigel trailing close behind. As always. Elsie snorted. We should start videoing those two. It's only a matter of time before she snaps and hurts him. I mean, really hurts him. Ooh, more dialogue heavy scene. Ooh, this should be interesting.
That's an interesting one.
Because you're not like, there are plenty of matches. This is an interesting, like, before Birdman says his thoughts, I'd like to just throw this out there. What this is going to make this an interesting challenge is we're not given the context of who's fighting who. We're just given a small segment of a story. So, and because several KWCs have used the Heat team already, it's going to make it interesting to say which ones were those.
Exactly.
So,
but
with that,
there is enough contact clues where in this one you can figure out who it is based on their interaction, and also based on who's there. I will say that.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, with that said, Birdman, where do you think that part comes from?
Match 83.
Okay, match 83 and reason. Oh, sorry, no, sorry.
I
That's later.
recognize-
That's later. GVC.
yeah, that's later.
GVC.
Gosh
Yeah,
darn
GVC.
it, Greyshot.
Listen, this is new. I forgot.
I can't remember the order of this, but King Kong versus Zilla versus Hedorah versus Ebra.
Okay. Kaiju X.
This has to be match 83. I think I remember reading this part when we were doing the committee reads. It's the whole reason I'm familiar.
And GVJ.
That's a good question. I want to say 83 because only something so stupid would be in that. But I don't know. I probably is that Godzilla. Can I split my vote?
No.
No.
Where you at?
No.
Listen. Right now, listen. So what? Okay, so you're splitting your vote. What are you splitting your vote with?
Great, I'll just go with everyone. 83.
Okay then. You are all incorrect.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, this is match 126.
Serious?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The
Look at
giveaway-
that.
the
Is
giveaway
where
is
if I
the-
can look?
Yeah,
Wow.
the giveaway is the location. Because if you think about it, there's only been one match that is heat. It says, Elsie and Craven walk from the lab, Nigel trailing close behind. There's only one
you
match.
missed that.
Yeah, there's only two matches
right.
that have heat at the lab, which is 164 and
No one likes that one.
164 and 126.
No one likes.
You're right, 126. Holy crap.
Oh.
Okay, that's pretty nuts. Okay, that's good. That was a good one. Because I thought there was a very similar scene in 83. Nice one. That was a good one.
Yep.
Wow. Awesome.
Okay,
Very
well,
cool.
only problem is
Said everyone lost that one.
Yeah,
Alex,
everyone lost
second
it.
guess.
Everyone loses.
I
It's
still
like
won.
The Last Jedi.
I got 3 of them right. I still won.
Alex, what was your second vote? Like, if 83 wasn't your answer vote?
I was gonna say 146.
Honestly, that would have been my second guess. That was actually my first guess until someone said 83.
146.
The Gyra one.
See that note in that one is Mendel's only in there for one scene, and he's on a phone call. Randy and Elsie aren't even in the match.
I don't even know who those characters are.
Monique and Randy are not in the match.
It's been
Don't
a
you
while
mean
since I've
Monique
read
and
it.
Chet
so it's like,
Jaguar?
oh, that's nice. That was a good one. That was a good one. Holy
Yep.
crap.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious.
That's super good. I really enjoy that. That was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for going forward, I will try to ensure that more are like that. But here, still got to break the tiebreaker. So here is another one.
See what we got.
Whoa!
Wow.
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 He's sending cascades of dirt and dust falling from his head and dorsal fins to the ground below in huge heaps. His malevolent eyes peered back and forth from his hooded brow, with evil intent as he watched the thousands of fleeing citizens scatter for their lives. Or beginning his rampage by trampling any survivors of the quake who were frantically trying to flee for their lives. Hey, Birdman, what do you think it is?
I'm going to say 205.
Okay, we got 205. GVZ.
I think it's Godzilla versus King Caesar.
Godzilla versus King Caesar. Okay. Kaiju X.
Correction, King Caesar versus Godzilla, but whatever. Ooh, Forgot about 205. Shoot, that's a good one. Might be 205.
205 and GVJ?
205.
God damn it. 205.
Gosh darn it.
Broke the tie. At least Joe's no longer in the
I
race.
thought the Godzilla thing would throw people off, but nope.
No, if you
Right,
look
as
at
a guy
the
who looked that match over, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
No, if you look
Like
at the KWC history, most of the matches don't even involve Godzilla as a villain. Yeah, you'll have the case of Godzilla versus King Caesar,
why-
but
that's
I don't
why Joe-
recall that
that's-
one.
Yeah.
All right,
I
that's
don't
why
recall
Joe
that
said-
one being in a city or near people. I just thought it was an aftermath.
Yeah, that's why Joe said King Caesar versus Godzilla, because that was the only match I was thinking of. That was the only match where Godzilla was ever a straight up villain. But then it was like when Birdman said 205, it was like, that's right, that was a thing, the free fake Godzilla thing. That's right.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here's another one. I will break this. We will break this tie.
Right. Mothership. Their leader stared unamused at the village and its surroundings from the comfort of his command chair. I thought you told me there was a kaiju here. He leaned over to look at his various subordinates, monitoring the ship's systems and exterior environment. A bunch of primitive cattle, but no giant monster like you specifically said would be here. Of course, leader, one of the Exilians replied.
I know this.
But okay,
Gorosos versus Varan.
Okay. GVZ.
I'm going with Gorzaurus versus Varan 2.
Wait, Gorosaurus versus Varan round 2? Or hasn't even been yet, man.
Yeah, Gorzaurus versus Varan 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay. Kaiju
But
X,
yeah,
round 3 or 4?
Gorzaurus versus Varan.
I'll take round 4. My thought was also Gorosaurus versus Varan.
Okay. GVJ?
I was originally going to say Gorosaurus versus Monster X, but this didn't sound like an arrogant fool, so I changed my vote. Gorosaurus versus Varan.
Damn it. Okay.
Well,
guys.
for one, this one's well written.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's actually written.
I knew this was straight away. I recognized my own handwriting.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you recognize your own handwriting.
Because you have the person
Oh, wait,
who
yeah, you
wrote
wrote
it.
this. Fuck.
Yep, it's going to be super easy for guys like us to recognize
I
pieces from our own matches.
I
Yep.
forgot about that. I was like, this is going to be so fine. God damn it.
Gosh darn it.
I was like,
It's
that
a
was
bit last now.
all right. Even before Birdman was sure of himself, I kind of figured. Yeah, let me put it this way: even before Grandpa said what it was, I kind of figured it was Gorosaurus versus Varan because of a village
Yep.
and a kaiju that the Exilians are waiting on.
Mm.
And I recall in which Exilians are heavily involved was 158. That was the only one that I immediately came to mind that would seem like, okay, they're waiting for Varan to come out. Because he would be the one that would make the most sense to be in a village environment.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Here, let's try this one then.
Else, the Exilian cautiously, or anything else, the Exilian cautiously asked in fear. One last thing I want you to tell everyone, X stated before he turned around and stared at the official. Before the Exilian could ask, the Kaiser had him by the throat and off his feet again. Fail me, X yelled as he tossed the Exilian at the door.
Okay, we're gonna do from the bottom up this time because Bird Zone. So GVJ, going first.
I have no idea. This sounds like your typical Exilian match that seems edgy and tries to seem cool. So I have no idea.
Listen, I'm getting very hard. I'm taking this one. I will admit does not have too much context. You have to know it because god damn it, you guys know too much.
I have no idea what the hell this stupid match is.
Guess.
So this one sounds familiar. I think I remember.
You're gonna have to wait a minute.
Okay, we'll go up from the top. Bird zone, Birdman. Yeah, bird zone. Go.
Bird Zone, man.
Now come back to me. I'll think of it.
God damn it, Kaiju X.
157 Gaigan versus Kumasugami.
Okay, 157 Gaigan versus Kumasugami. GVZ. Do you actually have an answer?
I'm thinking it's Monster X versus Gabra.
Monster X versus Gabra. Okay, birds.
Because it kind of feels like MM's rating.
I'm gonna say.
It's just
I'm
supposed to say
Jaguar versus Ibra.
Okay. Jaguar versus Evra. Everyone's doing something different, so someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong. Oh god. Architect, are you picking something with someone else, or are you doing something original?
This might break the tie.
This is definitely going to break the tie.
Shit. Yeah, and I have no idea. Hold on, I'm still trying to think here. Hold your goddamn horses.
Okay.
Actually, can I change my answer?
What are you changing it to?
Mechagodzilla Heisei and Gaigan versus Kiryu and Ultraman.
I thought you were going to make some kind of joke, but okay, that works. I will do that. I will allow this.
And so be it, but match 93 is the one I want to run with.
Okay, 193. Bird Zone is 137. GVZ, you're 153, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Shit. I'm trying to remember which ones had the agility.
Just pick.
Oh, there are so many excellent
Yes,
matches.
you might be right.
Will you shut your whore mouth?
10 seconds. 9.
129.
129. Okay. And for our first victory, we have Bird Zone.
Hey!
Wait, which one did you go for?
Oh, wow, really?
Yes. This one was match 137. It was the final line.
Seven?
What was it again?
137, Ebra, Jaguar versus Ebra.
Yep.
Oh, and this was a Greyshot match.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't look. Next time I will have more in depth, but god damn it, I needed to break the tiebreaker, and the only way to do that was to give like a random line.
Yep. Yeah, it was proof to show that it's like, oh yeah, who still remembers these lines? It did sound familiar. It honestly did sound familiar because I do remember reading it like way back when. Even if I did just jump to the bottom, I did remember seeing those last lines.
Yeah,
so.
I almost put this line in here, which was right above it, which was plan the scientist's removal and find out exactly where the ship crashed, X-ordered. Once we have what is buried at the site under control, there's nothing that will be able to stop us. I knew that'd be too much of a giveaway.
That would have been too much of a giveaway. That was pretty good. So congratulations, Birdman. You're our first victor in sneak peek is faithful erotic fan fiction.
Congratulations. You won the first round. Whose battle is it anyway?
Tasteful.
Hey,
But
we're
remember,
going.
Greyshot, I still got the very first one.
This is true.
Troya versus Baggett.
No, actually, Gamera versus Fedora.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gamma
Oh,
versus
yeah.
Sarah. That's right.
Yep.
The one which I forgot to read out loud. Oops.
But next time I will have I'm probably gonna get like 10 matches next time. But next time, I will find a variety of matches and I will see if I can confuse these assholes a lot faster and with better matches.
Yeah, I think it's the dialogue ones you need to focus on.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That's actually good competition.
I'm thinking the dialogue or matches where the monsters were in fought in more than one match, because that also gave a little bit of a confusion, because that's what GVZ also was hit by first.
With the whole like when it has multiple monsters, or heck, once again, Showa Mechagodzilla can really throw you in for a loop, because it's like when you're just told Godzilla's fighting this monster, but it's actually fake Godzilla, but you don't know that.
Yep.
It makes for a very interesting loop. That's why I liked with the one where you used 205 as a reference, or use the bit from 205, which was like, oh yeah, it's a Mecha Godzilla match, sure, but the match starts off with a fake Godzilla. So
Yep.
Exactly.
this is definitely a very. What was the name for it again?
Whose battle is it anyway?
Anyway, I'll try and commit that to memory. So yeah, we got this in the KWC battle. So hopefully you guys there really enjoyed it. Honestly, we hit the 2-hour mark pretty perfectly. And with that said, I guess we can probably easily
enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it makes you really think. So, and heck, as we read, if we ever, if we ever do more KWCs for the committee reads, we could probably commit some of these things to memory. So,
Exactly. Honestly, I think I found the sweet spot, which is between match 100 and 150. Because anything newer, you guys would have most likely have read, but
all right.
Yeah.
Anything before that, we read because of the committee reads. Yeah.
Exactly.
Once again, just because we read it on the committee reads doesn't mean.
They just cracked jokes the whole time.
Well, anyway, with that said, we will be seeing you guys next time for next month's KWCC. And in the meantime, you guys will also enjoy the next season of the committee reads. Until then, folks, see you then.
See you guys.
5 minutes to the end of a read.
Oh,
Hooray! I lasted the whole session.
Bye.